lot has changed for Ragnarok on ARK Ascended, so here's 30 of them that you need to know. First up, of course, the Bison. That's a brand new creature to ARK Ascended, easily tamed with a knockout method. The first creature that you've been able to knock out for absolutely years. And a bit of a powerhouse coming in male and female forms. The female able to be milked when raising babies, so that's your Wyvern sorted. And the male having a pack buff with 2 varied abilities in combat. One being able to stun anything in place, yes, even a Giga. And the other able to lift anything off the ground up to a certain drag weight. We were able to throw aloes up into the air. And these things are ferocious and mean to wander into the wild, even fighting anything around them if they get threatened. Lovely looking creature, and we'll be doing a follow-up on how powerful they are in the future. Next up, Griffins are looking better than ever, spawning in the locations you've known from ARK Survival Evolved with roughly the same numbers. There was mention of them spawning nests, though I don't think that's true. So the way to get one is, as you've always done, knock one out and job's good. And Griffins are controlling as good as they did in ASE. The dive bomb is just as good, with the dive swipe attack being potent as always. And of course now, well, you can breed them, which is pretty insane when you start thinking about that additional damage output. Though Griffin babies are looking a bit rough around the edges, but then again, what a baby bird does, right? And honestly, once imprinted and grown, you've got an absolute juggernaut in the skies, killing things in 1 or 2 swoops. Throw on some traits to combat harder hitting enemies such as Wyverns, and Griffins are the ultimate attacking flyer on ARK to date now. There is no better. Get yourself one, get breeding one. Don't forget, of course, once you got one, you can shoot off the back of one to tame anything else that you need later on. Just, of course, you're going to have a bit of a game taming your first one, as they take a serious amount of shots and quite a lot of food to tame. If you've got extraordinary kibble, you may want to plan for that. Then we've got some massive expansion areas across the map. First up, the Scotland expansion, looking like a giant prehistoric plain. There's so much to see. Linked from a bridge from the main Scotland area to soak in and wind back in time as you explore the giant lands, with of course the new Bison all patrolling the area in packs. Large beaver dams to be found in this new area in a giant pool within the middle, with even more beaver dams found underneath, with of course big giant mountains to scale up and potentially build on, and a brand new lighthouse to venture in, maybe make your new home. And the Redwoods got a giant expansion too, once again having a bridge connecting it to the Redwoods. This one being a pretty epic bridge to cross indeed, as it doubles into a giant castle to explore and potentially renovate to be your new base, with water sections found throughout the castle, so you've got somewhere to put your intake pipes. And once again, Bisons roaming this expansion, a great source for Rexes if you're planning to tame Rexes. Of course, Redwoods, because it's a Redwoods expansion, more Redwoods for you to build tree houses on, and quite a lot of metal and crystal at the top of the mountain. Then we've got the Scorched Earth expansion, 2 islands off to the south, with it kind of bending into a bit of a cove, presenting some new ruins to perhaps work around and become your new base. A pretty sizable plateau to build on, but of course its main feature, a Carnivorous Cove for Carnivorous to tame. That's right. Accompanied with a brand new resource to Ragnarok that was only on Aberration prior, polyplants, with plenty of metal to farm around, and a smaller island just west of that with pretty good metal spots there too. And then of course there's the Wilderness expansion, which again is a giant plains prehistoric area to explore just off the swamp, with lots of plateaus to build on this time around, quite a few of them all dotted around. Bisons once again to tame, as well as Rexes once again being a great source for them, and metal is plentiful around this section, with its own brand new cave behind a waterfall, though it's pretty tight, so maybe could be a potential winner for PvPers out there. Almost crouch, not quite crouch. And did get me thinking maybe there was more to this, because it's quite a small cave, but you know. And then of course, pulling back from the wilderness, you'll see of course the new Swamp Castle, which is a gorgeous build with lots of space to build in, surrounded by cats. There's absolutely dozens of cats around this section if you're planning to tame cats. I heard a rumour of poison wyverns circling the tippity top of this castle, though I didn't see them myself, both in single player or on unofficial, but it's a great piece of land to make your new base. And then there's one or two brand new islands dotted around the map, one really remotely far off to the north at around 1.2 35.5 that's got pretty much nothing on it. It's kind of bizarre why it's there. I feel like it's some in-joke Easter egg we're not too privy to. Maybe an island that Slipgator sailed to. And with that, as we've passed over it, the sea has definitely had some work done to it. If you find over in the south a mini Atlantis, a full-blown Atlantis to check out, hiding away a good chunk of Silica Poles, a great location to see. You gotta check it out for yourself. And of course, with the swamp castle being built, the Tuzo Valley has completely changed now because that's been moved over to the side, though there is still plenty of Tuzos to find down there. And of course, they're still protecting the artifact of the Devourer, though not quite as iconically placed as it once was. And on that note, most artifacts are remaining where they are, apart from the strong artifact. It's now moved, and we'll get to where that is later. And the artifact of the Brute is gone, no longer in the Redwoods cave that it was in ASE, because, well, you don't need the Brute to do the boss on this map. So I guess the devs decided let's just pull it out completely and leave you to get it on other maps. And there's a few reworked ruins around the map. One in particular just south of the Swamp Castle, a pretty cool ruin back in ASE, now completely reshaped for Ascended to make it a really popular build location. Not only hiding a pre-built couple of buildings to start yourself in, but hiding away a staircase that works its way down to something straight out of Bruce Wayne's dreams. It even has its own Batcave exit, if you will. Or was it maybe even the scene in Transporter when Jason Statham has to take shelter down deep under his home? Either way, it's a cool spot to build in. Go check it out. And speaking of reworked, revamped places, the Carnivorous Caves has had a massive overhaul with new lighting. Once before in ARK Survival Evolved, it was pitch black. You couldn't see a bean. Now you can see absolutely everything, and a nice blend of colours from blues to reds to pinks and greens, all lights bouncing off each other. Plenty of Megalania in here and Megalos as before, as well as the artifacts that you know, and Carnivorous now everywhere within this cave, not just in the walking sections of the cave, but you know that mile-long sea tunnel that goes all the way to a dead end back in ASE? Well, it no longer does, whilst it's full of Carnivorous the entire way through. It connects to a giant fall pit that leads to a brand new entrance just opposite the volcano, meaning there's another way into the Carnivorous Caverns, making that like 4 entrances? 5? I've lost count. The Labyrinth has had a massive overhaul with a gorgeous new frontage to it. It's certainly the epic entrance that it deserves, no longer hidden as it was before. It really does look amazing, with way more loot to obtain this time around now. A lot of Easter eggs to run into, but apparently much more dangerous. I didn't want to go into this too much to spoil it for myself or spoil it for you, because that's the fun of this one, right? But get ready. I hear lots of spikes coming up and down in the ground, but the entire thing looks gorgeous and can't wait to try it out legit. Speaking of things tried out legit, the Ice Queen Cave is worth doing because it's had a little bit of a revamp there, whilst drops still remain in the start, middle and end areas with the same route as you've known before, with a few new Easter eggs along the way. It's just a big, cleaner area when you finally reach the Ice Queen to fight, with it feeling not too difficult to take on solo. But unfortunately, now you don't get any loot off the Ice Queen's body, but there are 4 red drops that spawn once it dies, and they do seem to reward you better loot than they did before in ASE. Don't forget, of course, the artifacts right at the back where you'll run past a dead Megapithecus. I can't remember that being in ASE. Of course, the Giga and the, oh my god, kill it with fire, baby deathworms, all in eggs around you as you get the artifact, with the exit out still looking about the same, though kind of a bit more obvious an exit now. And whilst the difficulty of the Ice Queen isn't too bad, the Lava Golem, I'm sure they've buffed, as there's 2 entrances to this now, the original one that you remember and a brand new entrance down around the side. I don't remember seeing this one in ASE before, with this new entrance being a bit more straightforward to get to the lava locations further in, though there is a lot of adds to run into that way. So, you know, I guess you've got either the precarious but safer route to go, or the more hostile but straightforward route if you're packed and ready to kill whatever spawns in there, with it feeling really ambient the entire way through, especially the temple section in particular. The lighting looks amazing, and in fact you can make the entire way through to get at least the artifact on foot. But if you want to fight the lava elemental, you're going to need grapples to get up to the crystal to hack away and crawl through the gap, make your way out and summon the lava elemental by walking down to the ramp on the left. But as I said before, this dude has definitely been buffed. Not only can the Juggernaut walk up the path you're attempting to fight from, meaning it's already much more dangerous with you being prepared if this thing's going to walk straight on your face. And rockets, I swear, are worse now. I got through like 4, 5, 6 rockets and was barely doing a dent to this thing. This used to be the way to do it, though there was a meta that was introduced a bit later on, wasn't there? And that was, of course, Velos, which are absolute monsters and still are the way to go to do the lava elemental pretty quickly. And there is a little spot you can cheese it if you get the pathfinding just right. You can get it stuck in a certain section to kill pretty easy with a Velo, but until transfers are open unofficial, well, you got a bit of an issue there. I don't know how you're going to kill this thing. And once again, there's no loot to obtain on the rock elemental. Once beat, you're rewarded through 4 red artifacts once again, with it being strange that the way out is still the way out as it was in ASE. I thought there might be an opportunity here to rehash how you exit, but no, you've got to go all the way back the same way you came in. Good luck, enjoy. The new Wyvern Cove cave has had an absolute glow up, looking much bigger now, with the entrance certainly being a much easier entry than before. I always used to fall in the water trying to get in and out of that thing. Now, no longer the case. You can just simply fly in and out at will, and it does look gorgeous. It looks absolutely stunning, with lights bouncing all over the shop, aberrant megalania in here to tame, and, well, polyplants in here to farm, as well as loot crates can spawn in here for you too. And as well as that strong artifact we told you had been moved, it's been moved here. Right at the back of the Wyvern Cove, through a new ruins section, you'll find the strong for you to obtain, making it just that little bit more harder to get. Though with plenty of space to go in and out the cave, I can still see this being a much easier option than, well, trying to do the snow cave on island, right? And speaking of wyverns, the ice wyverns, there's brand new spawns for this now, much more spawns than there were before, with the nests being much higher than they were before, so much easier to find than hidden within the trees like they were on ASE, with a new cool look to them, excuse the pun. And I swear we're literally watching the nests as they were flying above, waiting for me to get their eggs. The breath attack has definitely had some work done to it, with the effects looking, well, pretty cool again, sorry. And whilst the range doesn't seem to be any further than it was before in ASE, bit of a shame that, it does feel a bit more accurate to breathe than it did before, feeling roughly about the same as a fire breath from a fire wyvern. Oh, and the new locations, by the way, whilst there's the ice wyvern spawn area in the murder snow that you know, these coords here is where you can find new ice wyvern spawns. Go knock yourself out. As mentioned earlier, you can find Carnivorous and aberrant megalanias, and that means there's other maps beyond Scorched Earth that have brought creatures over onto this map too. That includes aberrant dodos and shinehorns, because everyone loves a goat. Cats spawn literally everywhere now. I'm guessing the devs are big cat fans, whilst on previous maps they were pretty rare to run into. I think it was more to do with the grass, and we'll get to that in just a moment. They can be found literally everywhere on the map. You'll have no problems finding a cat clawing at your face. Pyro remains are on this version of Ragnarok. Boo, kill them with fire. Can't do that because they're already filled with fire. And then, of course, Drakelings and Veilwinds from the Lost Colony Day 1 content will be spawning on this map too. We covered them in how to tame them and their abilities in a previous vid. Go check that out if you're interested. ARK Additions now spawn on Ragnarok 2. Almost all of the ARK Additions that you know that have been introduced to ARK can be found all over Ragnarok. So that's your happy, snappy, bleeding crocs, your beer guzzling, angry elephants, your pain in the arse, sphincter Siphaxtinus, and loudmouth drunkard Ceratosaurus. I can't remember if there's one more, but if there is, it'll be playing right now. And loot crates have had a bit of an overhaul. Treasure chests that used to be on Ragnarok have gone now because they were a bit too OP. That was the devs' words in our interview a few days ago. But Spawning anywhere near Blue Orb, you will find crates all over the beaches, giving you a rapid start right from the very off, pushing you right past stone tier all the way up to metal tier, giving you almost all metal starter tools. But I gotta say, I never found a metal pick in any of these crates, so I am wondering that maybe the tools you're seeing here are the only tools you can get out of these crates. But they are literally all over the Blue Orb beaches. You can't really miss them unless somebody else is farming them, of course. And interestingly, these crates are everywhere all over the map, even in the most unlikeliest of places, in the ocean, by sunken ships, and even right by the strong artifact cave, but still rewarding the same items. I kind of expected to see something more powerful within the crates in these locations, but no, it's still the same. But hey, not complaining. Metal tools right off the bat. Job's a good one. Veg has changed quite a bit. Remember that crop field that was found at Scotland? Well, it's not really the crop field it once was. There's crops there, not a lot, but the entire of Scotland is now covered in carrots all over. It's spread pretty thinly. I guess that was kind of brought in to not have anybody try and hoard the crop fields, with them being anywhere all over the plains of Scotland. And even at its extension, you'll find plenty of carrot spawns here too. I think there's another crop field here as well. And we've even found carrot spawns right over near Blue Orb too. So I'm expecting we'll see probably many more to come as time ticks on. As said earlier with other caves that we were talking about, polyplants all over now. So make sure to get yourself a dire bear, because you're going to find yourself farming plenty of poly from any of these locations, with maybe choosing to go to the Carnivorous Caverns or maybe even the Wyvern Cove if you want to try and brave that one. The Scotland Cave has some there too. Surprisingly, the Viking Bay Cave has plenty in there as well. But the best I've seen is the Carnivorous Cove, being one that I can't imagine people are going to build in. So at least one you know you can repeat, as well as killing the crabs there to get some poly out of them too. Black pearls have changed a little bit. Whilst the southwest spawn used to be the best place for some early black pearls straight off the bat, they are still there, but they're not as easy to see as there once was. I'd still probably go there to farm them myself, but Viking Bay has black pearls as well now, right by the sunken ship down there. Just be careful of the Riptrids all swimming around with the potential to knock you out. You don't want that to happen, do you? And whilst we're down there, did you notice Silica Poles? They're shiny. You can see them from far away. They're all shiny like. So now you know what a Silica Pole is. And if you want to get plenty easy early on, I would definitely recommend running the Canyon River, because there's a nice little stretch there with plenty of pills to obtain before maybe you're ready to get them with an angler fish. Charcoal trees are back. Now I know this isn't a new feature to Ragnarok, but it was a concerning feature because, well, Center got absolutely done over with the charcoal trees over there. There is still burnt trees on Center, but just not as much as they once was, and I was worried we were going to see the same for Ragnarok, but no, it's in fact the opposite. I think there's even more burnt trees to farm charcoal all across the volcano. And if you didn't know, make sure to get a wyvern down there, get wing flapping, and you'll get plenty of charcoal. Farming it in the thousands, I'm sure, once you've got a good leveled wyvern with perhaps even a 2x or a 3x on top. All the whilst filming this, did you notice something? You could see me through the grass. That's right. Grass is small. Oh, praise be, the devs finally listened to this one. No longer is the grass giant-sized. Almost all the time hiding our small players in the grass at any point in time. Grass has been given a definite hard look at to think, do we really need that much grass in this version of ARK? No, you don't. Even in the jungle, you can still see me. Look at me. I'm running around and you can see portions of my body. This is a great thing to see, and I hope to see this with every other map that follows after Ragnarok. Speaking of these small QOL changes, I guess the QOL, right? Clouds! The clouds look glorious once again. Honestly, whilst to some this might seem like nothing, the clouds look absolutely amazing. I'm going to go and show you what clouds look like on the island. Look at that versus that. Unreal 5.5 spoke some volumes and delivered. No more dirty, nanite, fuzzy TV, static, meshy, dirty clouds. We can actually bask under the sun and look fondly upon the white fluffy things floating above us and try and picture out what they look like. And speaking of picturing out things, you can picture out things underwater now as well. What? Another one, the devs said we need to fix that one as well. You can see pretty far underwater. Of course, you know, you are still underwater and there is going to be some vision blockage, but you can see much further than you ever could before. Let's compare it against the island. This is how far you can see in the island without goggles, and this is how far you can see now on Ragnarok without goggles too. Look at the difference. I can see I've got HD vision, but if I put on my 4K vision with my scuba goggles on the island, yeah, it gives me a bit more. Not a lot really though, but on Ragnarok, I can see the entire world. I can see a lot more than I can before. It's great to see that this was considered while still trying to get that underwater vibe feeling, right? And speaking of vibes and feelings, nothing makes you feel more atmospheric than weather. And well, Ragnarok delivers with weather. Wow, wow, wow. Volcanoes. This volcano erupts and means business, raining hellfire from the skies. Good grief, you can hear this thing rumbling from anywhere on the map. Molten lava falling down. It's great to see the animation change from dormant to active. It's a real cool thing to see, and in certain times of day, it looks stunning. Possibly one of the best features of this version of Ragnarok. And in fact, if you don't know, some of those molten rocks that hit the ground, they actually reward you with loot. Resources. Not a lot, bit of metal, obsidian, crystal and that, but still a nice little touch. Love to see it. And electrical storms are in and look amazing. Honestly, there was moments when I thought, is this real life? It was that close. The wind changes, all the trees start breezing, flowing back and forth, the clouds part, and lightning erupts from all angles and really does glow, brighten, blow up the world around you. It's a glorious sight to see. Really fond of this one in particular as well as sandstorms. As you know from the sandstorms in Scorched Earth, they've condensed it to a sort of small sandstormy area down in the desert biome, as epic as it once was, but just on a miniature scale. I tried to replicate this with myself with commands, couldn't do it, so I'm gonna have to just show you the trailer maybe, I don't know. And notice, because I don't think this was a thing in ASE, heatstroke is back in, so if you are in the desert region, you're going to have to be mindful of heatstroke. So, you know, desert, ghillie, one of those whilst you're down there, or else you're going to get fatigued and dizzy. And you know what? I take it back, the volcano isn't the best feature about this. You remember we had a theory that seasons were in on Ragnarok. Apparently they are, just not exactly as we thought. And I am wondering whether this is a bug, but I think it's not. I don't know. We'll see if the devs confirm this. But if you go and face the brand new boss, None Attack, which we covered in a bit more depth in a previous video, the colossal ice wyvern that now dominates its own brand new arena and even has some Easter eggs towards the manticore and dragon that we used to fight in the ARK Survival Evolved version of this map. If you die to the thing, well, the entire map turns to winter, which looks amazing. Something we haven't seen in ARK since those winter events some years ago. And when questioned, the devs said we're not going to see any seasonal events with Ragnarok, but you lied. You kept it to yourself. Or was it a bug? I don't know. Either way, I hope this remains in the game. I love this. This is insane to see the entire map decorated in snow. It looks amazing. I don't know how to turn it off though. Maybe it's by beating None Attack. I don't know. Maybe you could tell me. Go and find out. Comment below if you do. And if there was anything else I missed that's brand new to this version of Ragnarok, comment about that too. So until the next one, my name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace out.